Something happened over the weekend that very many people missed. Indeed, most people missed it. And this has to do with Azimio leaders, Raila Amolo Odinga and Martha Karua. Now, we've not had too many functions where these two, Raila and Karua, have both been in attendance. But it happened in Kisii over the weekend at the burial of a former legislator. And the message from the two Azimio leaders was very clear. Now, I understand that this comes at a time when many people believe there is a serious problem within Azimio. Okay? Others, like we on this channel, know that there was a major difference of opinion within Azimio. But Azimio is still intact. But we have also said these major misunderstandings are not good for the long-term health of Azimio. But the truth is, you cannot avoid them. Unless you're running dictatorial parties like Moi's Kano and Ruto's UDA. Let those who understand, understand. Let those who do not understand fail to understand. Raila made a declaration. He said, enough is enough. Azimio are now going to act. Okay? Martha Karua said the same thing in a speech. Now, this attracted my attention because reading between the lines, the message, very clear message I got, is that Azimio are about to make a major move. In fact, Raila told us that it is no longer Punda imechoka. No. This Punda has been tired for a long time, this donkey. Now, Raila told us, Punda imeanguka. The donkey has finally collapsed. It can no longer move. It can no longer do any work. It can no longer do anything. He was referring to the situation in Kenya, and the government policy of taxing everything that moves, which has now driven Kenyans to the edge, pushed them to that corner where they have no breathing space, let alone space to move. On my show today, I will break down this latest sensational development, and together we will try and figure out, at least get a rough idea of what exactly Azimio are planning next. Okay, so please stay with me for some very explosive revelations. But briefly, before we proceed, many people come to this channel and they just believe it is just an ordinary channel, just like any other channel. But I'm very grateful for the Kumekucha family who fully understand what is happening here, and that there is something very different about this channel. They ignore the arithmetic and sums which are done by others about this channel's financial position. And some of them fully understand what is involved in getting you the information that has made you fall in love with this channel. And to keep it running and all together, even as others are not happy, and by the way, those others are very powerful individuals, are not happy with what we're doing on this channel, naturally, because they want to retain the status quo at all costs. And these very special Kenyans have decided twice a year to give this channel the much needed boost that enable us to achieve so much more, and indeed to survive despite the circumstances. It is that time of the year again, and I believe you can see details on your screens. This message is of course for those of you who understand and who are in the Kumekucha family. Yeah. Others are welcome, but many of them may not understand. And once again I acknowledge you, supporters of this channel. Thank you very much, and even thank you in advance for having stuck to the pledge you made over 2 years ago. And you have done it so consistently. Asanteni sana. The details are in front of your screens right now, and they will be repeated in the description area below this video on YouTube. So, what are these unspecified threats that Azimio are making to the government? What exactly are they planning next? Now, you can be sure of one thing. The UD and Kenya Kwanza think tank are very busy trying to get the answer to that question. And indeed, I would not rule out some of them being here with us right now and trying to pick the brains of Kumekucha Chris to try and discover, have a warning in advance of what exactly Raila and Karua are up to this time round. And therefore you'll agree with me that being too specific and revealing certain information, even if I have it, I'm not confirming that I have it, but you'll agree with me that will be unfair to one side of the political divide. Therefore, excuse me in advance when I sound a bit general, and not too specific. I know those of us who are more experienced will gain more from what I'm about to say. Now you'll have noticed that now it is Raila Karua. Until this point, it has been Raila and Kalonzo all along. And now suddenly, it is Raila and Karua. And I have a feeling, going into the next few days and weeks, we will see a lot of Raila and Karua. Now, for those of us who have followed Raila for a long time, we will know that Raila always believes in giving the job to the person most suited for it. Give the expert to handle that. Now we know that Kalonzo Musyoka has a lot of experience in diplomacy and negotiations. There are those who strongly believe that Raila made a mistake when he appointed Kalonzo to lead the Azimio side in the bipartisan talks. Many felt that had Karua been there, Azimio would have gained more. But I disagree with that point of view. And I want to ask you a simple question. What more would have Azimio gained from the bipartisan talks? Because I believe most of us are of the view that Raila Odinga went into these bipartisan talks knowing very well that they were going to go nowhere. So if you know something is going to go nowhere, what kind of appointments would you make? Just answer that question. Now, you know that would be a big mystery to many of us who have not taken in my latest weekly intelligence briefings, number 116. But those who have taken it in will totally understand. Okay, I'll give you details later on how you can get hold of it in case you've not yet taken it in. Now, I tried to do a little research, looking for signs within UDA and Kenya Kwanza that the government is preparing for Maandamano Season 3. I believe it is Season 3. I found none, which in my opinion confirms what I have said in WAB number 116. Both the Ruto side and the Raila side know something that we don't know. Okay, and that's something that they know that we are not yet aware of. Maybe that Maandamano may not be an option right now. Okay, let me just leave it at that, please. Okay? And please don't misquote me. What I mean is that maandamano being led by Azimio may not be on the cards right now. Of course, that does not rule out the wananchi or other people leading the mother of all maandamanos, which is widely expected by close observers of Kenyan politics, and also has already been predicted by those who are spiritual. And so now that we have ruled out that option, as far as the next big move from Raila and Karua is concerned, it would seem that we are left with very little else, or in fact nothing. Or are we? Okay. Actually, no. There is another option that does not involve maandamano, and it is civil disobedience. You know, I revealed on this channel Raila Odinga's secret weapon, and those who have been following me regularly already know it. But let me just remind you. I said that Raila's most potent, devastating weapon is that he always chooses to ride with the wave. In other words, instead of building up a wave on his own, he looks for a wave, makes sure that this wave is massive, or it has the potential of being massive, and then jumps onto it. And those who are not observing closely will say, aye, this man started this wave from scratch, when it is not true. The wave was already there. Maybe not very obviously visible, but it was already there. So all Raila did was to jump onto it. And with this momentum, that wave grew much faster. It would still have grown, but Raila jumping onto it with his massive following means that it grows much quicker. And the current wave that I see, and I'm going to put it in Raila's words over the weekend, Punda haijachoka, Punda sasa imeanguka. The donkey has collapsed under the massive load that was put onto it, which was too much. Now I don't want to lose anybody. This is why I'm moving step by step. And so, by Raila jumping on this wave, which is called Punda imeanguka, and then introducing something called civil disobedience, you can see exactly what I mean. Now, just to make things clearer, another kind of leader, a more reckless leader, a leader who has not been boxed in the way Raila has been boxed in right now, would have jumped on this same wave and introduced something called maandamano, demonstrations countrywide. And that one would have also been effective, maybe even more effective. However, the casualties would have been massive. Okay? Now, I'm going to shock most of us. At least that is what I believe. Actually, Azimio have already introduced civil disobedience earlier, much earlier in the year. Do you remember when Azimio advised Kenyans to reduce their consumption of fuel and therefore deny the government the increased taxes they're looking for? I'm sure you remember that. The suggestion was that people think of using carpools to get to work. In other words, instead of using a vehicle, you all get onto one vehicle, and tomorrow you can get onto another vehicle. But in short, instead of those 6, 7, 8 vehicles in the traffic jam going to work, now you'd only have one or just 2, with all those individuals in those vehicles going to work. Now, so far, nobody has attempted to scientifically analyze using data, whether actually that civil disobedience move by Azimio many months ago worked. However, we already know statistically that the consumption of fuel in Kenya has gone down very dramatically. And the result is that the taxes being collected on fuel are now less than the same taxes which were collected at the time of President Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta when he was still in power, when the tax was 50% of what it is now. It was only 8% instead of the current 16%. Bottom line, there are those who would say that Azimio's civil disobedience move, in terms of advising Kenyans to cut down on their use of fuel and deny the government the extra tax they wanted, the extra tax revenue. There are those who would say that the Azimio civil disobedience move played a major role in that. We don't have any proof, but there are those who would be of that opinion. And it is an opinion that is not impossible to argue against, but it is difficult to completely dismiss. But having said that, I think we can all agree that the Kenyan situation right now is very ripe for any civil disobedience move that could easily end up crippling the government, bringing things to a standstill. That is a very high possibility. But there is something else happening behind the scenes that if I was in this government, I would be very, very worried about. Okay? And this thing which is happening is weakening the government by the day, and leaving the government very vulnerable to any small move by Azimio, not even a big one. What am I talking about? I am talking about the murmuring deep inside UDA. And some of this murmuring has already come out into the open. We have all heard what Senator Cherargei has been saying about his colleague at the high table, the person who is supposed to be his colleague at the high table, Transport CS, Kipchumba Murkomen. And Cherargei has not kept quiet. He has continued. He has been insistent. He has been consistent. And some of us have interpreted the whole thing as being a kind of Nandi rebellion. And we have said on this channel that there are other people behind Cherargei who are still invisible. They are not visible, but they are pushing and supporting Cherargei from behind the scenes. Okay, we have said that. And I believe when we started saying that, people like Alfred Keter had not even started talking. Alfred Keter, the former Nandi Hills legislator, has been more and more vocal in recent times, both on social media and in public gatherings. There are those constituents in Nandi Hills who still believe that their man Alfred Keter was shortchanged, that he should have been re-elected without any problem, had it not been for the interference from the UDA High Command. And Keter has a large following. And even maybe those who did not support him then, and even those who are lukewarm, undecided, not knowing which side to go on, confused. Right now, you can be sure that they are firmly behind their former legislator, Alfred Keter. Bottom line, we have already seen plenty of evidence that all is not well deep inside UDA. There is infighting, and this infighting is growing, and it presents the opportunity, the perfect opportunity, for something called betrayal. Now, betrayal is in human nature. This thing has been there since the beginning of time, and in many instances, it does not even take serious misunderstandings, as serious as what is happening deep inside UDA, to cause people to betray. A man called Judas Iscariot betrayed our Lord Jesus Christ. And even the way he did it was very sickening. Yeah? He went and kissed the Lord, having agreed in advance with those who are coming for him that the person you see me kissing, huyo ndo mtu, ndo huyo, that is the person you should get hold of. We all know the story. Julius Caesar was also betrayed by those who are very close to him. Yeah, we know the very famous phrase, tu Brutus, then die Caesar. Yeah, the reality is that Caesar turned around after the initial attack. Actually, he turned for support from his best friend, the person who was sure would support him, the man called Brutus, and found that the man was also holding a dagger. And that is why he followed it with the words, then die Caesar. Tu Brutus, then die Caesar. Which, if we were to put in Kenyan language, would go as follows: hata wewe umeniuza. Hiyo inamaanisha mimi kwisha maneno. Well, whatever way you want to look at this thing, there is a lot of drama loading. That one you can be very, very sure of. Now, very quickly before I go, we still have those slots for anybody interested in sponsoring a Kumekucha video. Our sponsors so far report very positive results, which confirms that we reach a very unique audience. In case you're interested, you'll find details in the description area below this video. WIB number 116 is out. Has been out for a couple of days now. And those who have taken it in have had some very interesting comments. Yeah? And generally, they have found that it has helped them a lot to understand many of the confusing things that are unfolding in our politics right now. Yeah? You can take full advantage of our latest offer, 2005 Kenya shillings, and that is the year the Kumekucha brand was launched, May 2005, in Dar es Salaam, Tanzania. And in case you want to take this subscription via PayPal, it is only $15. And of course, you'll receive all the back editions since we started of the weekly intelligence briefings, well over 100. And then you'll be able to continue receiving at least another 52 weekly intelligence briefings. Yeah, 1 year subscription. And that means that if in a year we have not yet produced 52, your subscription runs until you get your 52 editions of the highly sensitive, very informative weekly intelligence briefings. Go for it. I highly recommend it. Until next time, this is Chris Kumekucha.